In today's tutorial, we're going to look at these buttons in this Pixel Studio Microsite Builder. And one thing we can see straight away, there's no clear way to copy and paste or duplicate elements. I'm going to show you the traditional way first, where we go through and add a new button, this one for example, and then how we can change the settings to match. And what we'll find is it takes quite some time. There's no eyedropper tool yet, although this is a feature that I believe is in the pipeline. So I'm using the Google Chrome extension ColorZilla, and you can see it in the pop-up there. And this allows me to select colors to work with. So I can change the background color for this button now. But we can see here that there's no gradient option. The transform, align, the border option, font, and color. So what we're going to do is realize straight away that that's the wrong button style for that anyway. And we need to jump back in and find a template that has the gradient. And we can see further down here, we have the button style that I used to create this effect. So now we've selected the right button and we've isolated what we need. And I've changed the color and now we can see it matches. There's no second color that we need to add to create the gradient effect. That's baked into the button style. So now we've done that, and we can just adjust the height of it so it's spaced nice and uniform. We can see it's 20 pixels in between each button, which is what we want. We can now look at the border. And the best way to find out that is to go to the border above. You can see it's white and it's 4 pixels. So here we don't need the eyedropper tool. We can go to the white and change the transparency setting, which is a little bit faded out, but we can see it there to make that larger. Just double checking that spacing. Now we've created 3 evenly spaced buttons. The problem is, if I want to create 4 to 5 buttons on every single microsite I build, which is not beyond the realms of possibility, this is going to be a slow way of doing it. And when I spoke to the team at Pixel, I put in a feature request to create a duplicate option, which again, I think is in the pipeline. But in the meantime, there's a really obvious and embarrassingly so for me option to duplicate these buttons. The situation was more straightforward than I had thought. We select our button, Command C to copy and Command V to paste. That creates a new button that we can repeat that process and build our buttons, then use the pop-up guides to adjust them accordingly. Now we're able to change the text in each individual button, but marry that style right the way through our page. A couple of notes that will help you before we go down this approach of duplication. If we go to behavior, we can have animate on hover. Likewise, we can set it to open the link in the same window or in a new tab before we duplicate the button. Those will just help you from having to go through those settings for every single button. But in this case, we're going to leave the link completely blank. To change the text, we double click in it and then we can change our link. Okay, so now I've updated those texts. I think I'm going to get rid of that final button and adjust the spacing so I can click and drag over all of our buttons, now they're in place, and move them into position. I can just double check that that is aligned to the center, and we can see the line going all the way through, both dotted and solid. And so it's just a case of just checking now that we've got everything aligned to the center. And we can see these buttons might be a little bit offset to the right. So we're just going to adjust them, a little bit of fine tuning before we have what's getting close to our final page. This pop-up here is just because I got Grammarly installed. That will not appear on the final option. So I'm going to save it at this stage. Now head over to preview. Of course, the thing I've got left to do is to link up all the buttons to the social media icons and for these 4 buttons for this link tree to be fully effective. And as we can see, the first button, we've got the animation on hover, but not on the others. So that's why I recommend going through that setting before doing anything else. This is on mobile view and it's looking really nice there. And if I jump across to desktop view, we're making use of that background image. And if you're wondering how I created this effect, got the colors to match the microsite and for it to all tie in together so it creates a nice visual background plus full image for desktop view, then you'll be in luck because I've got a full video that takes you through that process. I'll catch you next time.